I want to educate you on you. I want to empower you in times of adversity, and I want to equip you to heal yourself because you can. Welcome to season 1 of my podcast, Unshrinkable. Hi, I'm Emily Katz. My guest and I are here to help you find what works for you beyond traditional therapy and mainstream meds. Hello, everybody. I am super excited to introduce our amazing guest today, Jane Marcus. Jane is a fantastic looking 55-year-old woman, mum of 4. Can you believe it? And a health coach specializing in helping women over 40 live their best lives. With 18 years of experience as a personal trainer and nutrition coach, Jane has transformed the lives of countless women, guiding them to become their strongest selves, both physically and mentally. In our conversation, Jane will share her passion for empowering women, explaining why she believes that perfection is not required. I love that. To make meaningful changes. She'll walk us through the importance of accountability, the mindset shifts necessary for sustainable transformation, and how women can enjoy life while staying consistent with their goals, whether it's weight loss, fitness, or overall well-being. I am very excited for this conversation because I have a lot to say about this too, but I'm so ready to hear everything you have to say. Jane's clients have experienced remarkable results, achieving significant weight loss while enjoying life without obsessing over food and experiencing smoother progress than they had with other programs. So get ready for an inspiring and empowering discussion with Jane. Let's dive into how to live your strongest life no matter where you're starting from. Jane, please introduce yourself and specifically how you got here doing what you do.
Thank you. Wow. I want to meet Jane. She sounds great.
She is great.
Okay. I'm really happy to be here. Great to chat to you. So as you said, 55, mum of 4. And I actually was the kid at school who was literally never chosen for a team, could not do any exercise, was really, really, really bad at it. My friends from school laugh at me now. They're like, what? You're doing what? But I had a great role model. My dad lifted weights always. He used to go to the gym twice a day. He used to go, like, he worked in the city and he'd go in the morning, like, I don't know, like morning before work, lunchtime. And he was in really like the East End gyms with like just the, like, not the fancy gyms, the like Olympic lifting European champion. And I would always see him and I would, he had all his magazines, Scientific American, Arnold Schwarzenegger on the cover. Like it was always there. And I wanted to, but I didn't know what to do. I would even try and go running with him, but my dad was like in his space. We'd get down the garden path. I'd be like, I can't breathe. And he'd go, okay, just go back. Like he never said, oh, if you do another 10 steps, you'll be fine. So long story short, terrible. Still can't do a somersault, by the way, forward roll, whatever you want to call it. Can't do one. Like, I don't know. But as I grew older, I guess it was just always there, seeing him, seeing the muscles, seeing whatever. And I'd say in university, I started doing a bit because I felt like a slob because, you're like sitting around eating anything and everything, too many Indian curries and beer. So I started like moving a bit and I was like, oh, I actually like this. I do remember the first time I did an exercise class, I couldn't get up the stairs and I had to go up backwards, like sitting. And just so over the years, I just started to work out for myself, realized I liked it, said to my dad, hey, you could have let me run down longer than the path, the whole thing. But it wasn't. Then I came to Israel, had lots of really shitty jobs. And the one thing that kept me going was always going to like working out in some way. And that was like, I realized my mental escape kind of grounded me, made me feel good, made me feel like, doesn't matter what else I'm doing, I'm taking care of me. And I got stronger and stronger. And people would always ask me, like, oh, what are you doing? Like, what do you do in the gym? Or someone would come up to me. I was like, oh, this is such fun. I can tell other people. And when I got pregnant with my twins, I realized that putting them both in childcare and working my job was actually going to be a lose. So I went and studied. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this. Freaked out completely. Had to learn it in Hebrew. Freaked out that I was going to go train, but did it anyway. Finished the training. And then my husband said, okay, so now work in it. And I was like, what? No. So I started getting clients. I guess I learned along the way, right? Like, you learn what to do, but until you're doing it, until you're actually talking to people. And I was just like, oh my God, I just love this. I'm like changing people's lives. I'm making people stronger. I make it like, and it just developed until here I am, really.
I love that. I love how we kind of, our path finds us in a way, like I too very much relate to that idea. Like, it just kind of evolved into this. It kind of happened. I love that. I love that. Okay, cool. So you mentioned that you work predominantly with women over 40, but what kind of things do your clients come to you with?
Gosh, they come with all sorts of things. I would say, the ping is always like, oh, weight loss, because that's what people think they're looking for. I'm going to say it like that. I definitely get women in this age bracket who have done a blood test and they're like, oh my God, my sugars are high, my cholesterol's high. How did this happen? I don't know what to do. And the doctor says, go away and try and do some exercise and then come back and we'll see if you need meds. So they're like, okay, Jane, I need to do some exercise. I don't know what that means. So it's kind of that, but it's usually, and people's clothes are suddenly not fitting anymore and they feel uncomfortable. I've got women who find it really hard, just like going for like a walk, like with their kids or their husband, and they're like, I can't breathe. So it's all different. I would say people come in thinking it's about weight loss, but not always just the main thing.
Yes. Okay. Awesome. And the kind of results that your clients have gotten. I said that there's a few things, but would you like to share a few of the things that you've helped women with?
Sure. Like, I want to really preface it, and you said it at the beginning, with perfection not required. I am not taking a woman and saying to her, right, we are going to get to be a size 0 and you're going to be a skinny bitch. And like, that's not what we're about, right? The main transformation is strength, right? As far as I'm concerned, it's strength mentally and physically. It's knowing that you can make your body do things that you want it to do. And you know what? Maybe it's just getting off the floor. Maybe they couldn't sit down well. Maybe they didn't know how to do a squat. Okay. I have women who come to me and I'm like, do a squat, and they can't. And I'm like, wait a minute, you can't squat? Like, you sit on the couch and you get up. And I'm like, there's no body awareness. And when they suddenly get it and I see them, like, they do the moves and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is for the next 30, 40 years. So for me, the transformation is that they can move better, that they can do the exercises right, they can breathe and they're not out of breath. Like, they might start in my Zoom classes and they're like, I can't breathe. Like, I get messages, like the first time, I can sometimes get a message from a woman saying, you nearly killed me. Oh my God, but I did it. And then 2 months later, they're like, remember when I thought that was hard? So for me, it's seeing that, and also seeing them put themselves first, like actually carving time. Okay. Often people come to me and they want to do it. And they sign up and suddenly they're like, oh, I don't know if I have time. And I'm like, okay, hang on. Let's just open your calendar and schedule you in. And then they're like, schedule me in? And it's like, yes, you would put a dentist appointment for your kid in, a doctor's appointment. Your boss wants you to have a meeting at some ridiculous time and you squid yourself around, right, to get to do that meeting. Well, where are you? And I think that's huge for me when they suddenly go, okay, hang on. And then I'll add one more. When it even more exciting is when they go, oh, my kids are like, I have a woman now. She's like, my kid's asking for salad at night. She's like, he's seeing how I'm eating and he's like, oh, that looks good. Not saying we have to live on salads, but like, or I have women who are I had this literally the other night in one of my Zoom classes. I've got a woman there and she was doing half the exercises holding a child, but like, why not? And then the next time she came, so that was on the Sunday, she came on Wednesday and the kid was next to her doing it.
There's a few things, like literally there's so much overlap because I focus on the mental health aspect and you focus perhaps on the physical health aspect, but there's so much overlap. Like it's literally such a parallel process with many things. Like I always say, it's a self-prioritization thing, right? It's about putting yourself first and actually putting yourself even on the priority list. We're so, especially as mothers, like we're so far down the bottom. We're so self-sacrificial. I think it's literally been conditioned into us that it is a good thing to sacrifice yourself and put everybody else ahead of you. It's literally what we're conditioned, whether directly or indirectly, to do and to think and to normalize as well, right? And so I feel that that's something that is very much one of the main things that I work on as well with my clients. It's like, okay, this is about you now, right? Like, and you get to choose you and you get to prioritize yourself and your needs and your health. And then I love the idea of there's this overlap as well with the role model piece, right? Like we learn by example, right? But we also lead by example. And as I think before I even started doing what I'm doing, my self-development, self-healing journey started very much around this idea of I want to lead by example. I want to be a role model. And then that's what got me really to like deep dive into this work. And I think as mothers as well, like we want to lead by example and we really take it for granted that they just, it's like monkey see, monkey do, right? Like our kids really do just,
100%.
they eat what we eat and they say what we say. And So yeah, I think it's very, I say the best thing you can do as a mum is to heal yourself, because then you're going to have kids that are able to heal them. Like you pass on the tools, you pass on the energy, you pass on the everything, right? So I love that.
Yeah, and I'll add to that. I mean, I literally, one of the first things I ask my women to do is not turn on their phone in the morning. Like, not, don't look at your phone first thing. And I cannot tell you how much resistance I get with that. I have people, but my boss, and I'm like, your boss, what? Does he know what time you woke up, or she? Like, do they know? Like, I know, like it's like it's mind blowing to me that this is something that I have this with. Now they all do it in the end, and they all go, oh my God, I had such a better day. Because the first thing you wake up, like I have a whole process I want them to do when they wake up. And I'm not talking hours of stuff. No one's got time for that, right? But I have a few steps I want them to do, which is life altering. And like we're talking about weight loss, because we're not, right?
Yeah,
We're
I was
talking
gonna say,
about,
how is that connected to?
because it's all about how you set yourself up for success each day. It's the day as a circle, right? How you start the day, how you end the day is going to have a huge effect on what you do in the day. So when I ask people to turn off their phone, like do not open, not get up, look at your phone. Okay.
Mhm.
Stretch, drink water, whatever it is. They don't start in this panic, right? We're so social, we're so connected to social media. I'm sure your work's the same. Like that's not the first thing going on. And that can be really hard, but it's freeing. And again, for me, it makes them remember who they are and why they're here. Why did they sign up? Why did they pay me to get help? Like, if you really want my help, and again, perfection's not required. It's not going to work every day. You're not going to do it every day. That's okay. You're going to do it when you do it. So yeah, it's just all so connected. But
I
yes.
have to say that is one point you just raised, that the morning routine and the morning thing, not checking your phone. I literally actually saw a reel about that recently, where they say that it puts your brain waves into a certain state, and it very much changes the rest of your functioning throughout the day, like your cognitive
Yeah.
functioning. And so yeah, there's a lot of like chemistry involved in what you're saying. But I did want to say, one of the things that I've noticed with my journey when it comes to weight loss and the physical health, it is so much a mindset thing and an energetic thing, and the imperfection piece, not, you don't have to be perfect. I think that was a game-changing piece of the puzzle for me, when I really did allow myself the grace and the permission slip to be like, you're not going to get it perfect. You're not going to hit 1,200 calories a day. It's okay if it's 1,400 one day. It's okay if it's 1,600. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, whatever. You're going to have the cheat day, or the day that you didn't do the exercise, or the day that you didn't get that walk in, or the day that you forgot. Like, very much realizing that we are human and life happens, and it's not going to be like go exactly the way you want it, or as perfectly as like it's permission slip for imperfection basically is very
Listen,
much a part of that.
it's not black and white, and unfortunately we think it is. It's like that slip. Oh, I had one biscuit, so now I'm going to have the whole packet. Like, why? Like, I tell my women, close the door. You did something that wasn't on the plan, close the door. Like, the only person obsessing is you, right? I program in a lot of exercise. I want a lot of exercise, but I'm like, let's say you programmed it in and it's supposed to be happening on Monday. Something happens, you have to go out. It's not, oh my gosh, I didn't do it. It's like, okay, move it physically on your calendar, right? Drag it. And if you're still using pen and paper, rewrite it and do it the next day. Like, you've got the whole week of calories, of steps, of movement. But we can't always tell ourselves, oh, well, I didn't do it, so it's lost. It's never lost. Whatever you do is better than what you didn't do. And I don't program hours and hours of exercise. I have 2 live hour workouts, but the other days it's 15 minutes, maybe 30.
Yes, I was going to ask you, what does it look like working with you? What's your process? What's your methodology? How does it go?
Again, I just keep, perfection not required. Let's get more movement in. Park a little bit further away. Take the stairs. I mean, it's nothing new, right? Not reinventing the wheel. So you're parking further away. You're taking the stairs. I have women, I'm like, okay, you would have no time. Do squats every time you brush your teeth. Do a push-up every time you go into the kitchen to get a glass of water. How about this for women over 40? Every time you go and pee, do some form of exercise. Because I don't know about you, but like I pee a lot. I also drink a lot of water, right? So, get movement in wherever you can. And of course, really important, do some strength training. Don't get just stuck on a cardio machine or walking. Walking is great. We want it for heart health, for lungs, do it. But you got to add more. And that's another issue that women are frightened. You know, I mentioned Arnold Schwarzenegger earlier. Like, if only we could get like Arnie with our muscles, but it's like an intense, 24/7 job. We just want to get stronger. We want to get toned. We want to be functionally fit so we can get out of the chair. We can put our shopping away. If you fly, you can put your case up in the top and you don't have to ask the guy next to you to do it. Like, that's independence. That's being a functionally fit person. So it's to look at the exercise we're doing for why we're doing it. Like, come with your why. I want to be strong. I want to play with my kids, my grandkids, whatever it is. I want to be able to climb on the chair and put something away in my cupboard. I mean, I'm sure I spend my entire life climbing in the cupboard to get something out, usually having things fall out and hit me in the face, but that's a whole nother story. Like, it's about being present in your life. So yes, lifting weights. Yes, not 1 kilo, not 2 kilo, not 3 kilo, unless you're really just starting. Pushing yourself. We can do so much more than we think we can. And women are so frightened and they don't want to do it wrong. And they don't want obviously you don't want to get injured and you need somebody to look at you to tell you that you're doing it okay. But once you know how, your body's amazing. Like, it's amazing. And I think we forget that. And if you look back to Neanderthal man, and no, I'm not going paleo, but you look at what they did, they ate what was available, right? So carbs weren't bad because it was a vegetable or a fruit, right? Going to the food bit. They ran when there was an animal attacking them. They climbed up a tree. They took logs and moved them, and they built a house or whatever they did. I'm not sure exactly. They just used their bodies, and we sit around just like we're doing now, chatting and scrolling and watching TV and thinking that exercise is like this hobby. But exercise should actually be about being a functionally fit human. And I think that's where people don't realize.
I think that something that I've been really working on with this is I want it to be something sustainable and kind of a lifestyle change, meaning incorporating it into my life. I can't see myself going to the gym regularly. It's not something that I find viable for me, at least not right now, especially with little kids. So I'm like, so what can I do? How can I incorporate more movement and lifting and things like, weights and stuff into my life today? And I have land. I have a house with lots of land. And so I told my husband every afternoon, obviously it's not every afternoon, doesn't work out, but as often as I can, every afternoon, I want to do at least an hour, if not 2, out in the garden, helping you out, like whatever it is that needs to be done. And my favorite thing so far is moving rocks. We have piles of rocks that need to be moved. And I was like, I'll do that. And I literally lifting rocks into a wheelbarrow and then lifting the wheelbarrow and carrying it uphill to the top of the land and putting it. And I'm just like, and I'm dripping with sweat. I proper full on workout. I got music on. I got the kids joining in, and I feel not only satisfied and fulfilled because I've actually accomplished something that I wanted to do. Like, I can see the result, right? It's not like I need to see the result in me. I need to see the result of like doing something useful and productive. And I get the lifting in, and I get the exercise in.
That's incredible. I mean, most people aren't living on land like that and they can't do that. But if they can, they should definitely go out and do that. And you said you don't like to go to the gym or you don't have time. Well, that's the beauty of like what I do. My women don't go to the gym. They do it at home. Yes, you got to invest in a few weights, but you can do it at home. Yeah. When I started my live classes on Zoom in March 2020 in COVID, we had nothing. And you couldn't even buy like the weights were sold out within the first 3 days here. And that was it. And I had we had backpacks with books in.
Water bottles.
Yeah, but water bottles aren't that heavy, but I had heavy backpacks and we were squatting them on our backs. Like, you don't need excuses. Everybody's looking for a reason why they can't. And that's why when they come to me, I'm like, we're doing it at home. So the hour workout is an hour. I mean, okay, you got to turn up a few minutes before and put your stuff on, but you're at home. Right? Your kid was walking around. I mean, literally, they laugh. In my classes, my kids are opening the fridge and taking food out. Like, sometimes I get afterwards, someone writes to me, did they get in the fridge? Right? It's just happening and you're just happening. You're doing it at home and getting on with it. But like, I love you doing it out in the outside. I wish.
By the way, question, is it enough body weight to like lift body weight? Like
body weight.
push-ups, chin-ups, things like that?
Yeah, that's absolutely wonderful. I would do that as a base for sure. I mean, listen, if you actually are doing proper pull-ups, I mean, that's huge strength. Okay. And of course, there's a difference between having your hands pronated and supinated. So it's going to be harder if your hands are this way, easier if your hands are this way because you're using your biceps as well. But pull-ups is like absolutely fantastic exercise. I'd say something like squats is great, but once you can do a squat easily, then definitely you want to be carrying something because you want more resistance. Otherwise your muscles they won't grow anymore because it's not a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Push-ups, I don't think you're going to find anybody that a push-up isn't a challenge for. So, you've got various ways to do them. I have my women start on the wall, then they might go to a table, then they might be on their knees, then they're on their feet. Like, if you can put out, like, if you get to a point where you're doing them on your hands and feet, you don't need to be adding anything. You're like,
I've got a goal. I do my morning yoga, and so in my first one, I say I'm doing 3 push-ups.
Yeah.
That like my goal is to get to 3 that I could do it easily. So like every day I'm practicing. I'm doing my 3 to see, and then I'm going to build on it. But I'm like, it's something that I like, habit stacking. I do yoga every morning. I do my stretches every morning. Let's try and put some push-ups in. Like,
That's just like doing your squats while you're brushing your teeth.
Exactly.
Doing it anyway.
Habit
stacking. Hope you're making sure, habit stacking for sure. I do a lot about habits. Got to be a habit. I drip feed nutrition habits into my app for my ladies. So that we're always doing something else, always looking at something else. We're always, without it being this huge, great, don't have any of this, don't have any of that.
I think that's far more sustainable as well. They always say start small, make small incremental changes and keep building on it. But like if you try and do, change your life completely and your routine completely and everything's like from new, it's harder to sustain.
Listen, I say to my women, I want you to be a detective in your own life. And that's why I personally believe it's really important that I teach women why they're doing what they're doing, not just do this. You go to the nutritionist, she tells you to have a piece of whole wheat bread with a bit of cottage cheese on and you go home. But I want my women to understand, why am I doing this? Why am I drinking this water? Why do I want to get this sleep? Why do I want to eat protein? Why do I need carbs? Why?
I love that you're saying this. I love it. I was literally I wanted to say something before. It was literally about, for me, one of the most important things for me personally, and I find that this is, like quite common, is to understand why we do something. It's so important. That's so much of my work is theory, like trying to understand the why, right? And so there was something, I want you to tell me if this is right or wrong, because it's something I've been learning and researching about this stuff, because I am taking my physical health now to the next level. I've been doing a lot of the mental health, which has also helped the physical, but now I'm stepping it up, right? I'm always trying to improve. So I understood, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you just are in a calorie deficit, you'll probably be losing muscle mass, and then that will slow down metabolism as well. Whereas if you want to be losing fat, you should be in a calorie deficit, but also still working on your muscles so that you don't lose the muscle mass. But then the scale number might go up, but you're actually losing the fat. Is that correct?
It's very complicated, and it's not like muscle turns to fat or fat muscle. Yes, you're right. Like if to lose weight, you have to be in a calorie deficit. It's maths. There's nothing you can do. And if you think that you're doing it and you're still putting on weight, then you need to be tracking because something's off.
I track, and it's the best thing that I can do. Like it's
mind-blowing. Yeah. I will say I don't always have women track. Some people that causes them to binge eat, that causes them to have a whole load of issues. Every woman is different. You need to know what you're doing, even if you're taking photos. Just like an aside. So yeah, to answer your question, you want to be in a calorie deficit, but you want to be trying to build muscle, right? So that means you've got to feed it right, which is why you need to eat enough protein and good foods. It's not just like 1,200 calories but my pizza fit. Like, this is why I hate Weight Watchers. But they said the points fit. But did you get nutrition? Did you get something that's going to actually build your body, have you a healthy gut? Is it going to do that? So you need to be balancing, and you need to know also when to eat what. Like, you can eat more of certain foods after your workout. Like, it's really science. It doesn't have to be complicated, but somebody needs to tell you how to do it. So yes, you're right. You need to.
It blows my mind though that this is stuff that we aren't taught in schools. Like, we're not taught nutrition. We're not taught about fat and muscles and calories and this and that and like how the body works throughout the day and the different cycles and different times. It's so much we have to learn as adults, man.
With menopause, with metabolism, all of that, things are taboo. I mean, this is why I'm, working basically with
emotional regulation, mental health. It's why I'm doing this podcast.
Yeah, I mean, totally. And you need to understand where you are in your cycles and in your life and and just to go back to the metabolism thing, when you have more muscle, your metabolism is boosted because just having muscle in your body, it's a living organism. So I'm burning more. I may weigh the same as some skinny girl or fat girl, whatever it is, but if I have muscle on my body, my body is working and burning more at its base level. Like there's so many things, and people just want to think that they just need to be skinny, and there's skinny fat. Like, are you healthy? That's why I don't want.
I know people that have like starving themselves and they're not losing the fat. And I was like, because I think your body's storing the fat because you're starving yourself.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to go around the whole starvation mode thing, because if we're really in starvation mode, we'd look like, it's not that, but it is your body saying, well, I don't know if I'm ever going to get any more of this again, so I'm just going to keep this. And also, as we're over 40, everything changes, our hormones, right? Estrogen, progesterone, everything's changing. And we can do a lot with how we eat and how we move and how much muscle we have to combat the changes in estrogen. And women don't know that. And so even if you go on to HRT, let's say for menopause, because you really need it because of all your symptoms, okay, you still need to do the other things that somebody who's going the natural route is doing. You still need to build the muscles, because hormone replacement therapy is doing something, but it's not doing the same thing in your body, okay? It's like, it's just so complicated, and women have not been taught about it, don't want to think about it, don't embarrassed to say anything. So I'm really approaching my work with women from every angle that I can possibly get, to educate, to help them, and to make them feel normal, and get them stronger mentally and physically.
I love that. And I think it really is important. Like, I mean, I don't think we need to wait until we do get after 40 to start doing these things. I think the sooner that people can get started on instilling these healthier habits, for lack of a better way to put it, right? But it's literally just a different way of living and a different way of looking at your body and at yourself. I mean, even my 5-year-old, he came to me this morning, he said he wanted chocolate for breakfast, and I said no. And he was like, why? I said, I've explained this to you many times, but I'll explain it again as many times as it needs, as we need. I said, chocolate has a lot of processed sugar in it. I didn't say processed because he's only 5. I said chocolate has a lot of sugar in it, and we love your body and we love our bodies, and we want to put good things in our bodies, right? Because we don't want to put things in our bodies that are bad for our bodies, because then we're going to get sick. And I don't want you to be sick. And then I listed off all the people that we know in older ages that are sick. And I was like, see, they're sick. They didn't really look after their bodies very well. They were putting bad things into their bodies. And we don't want that to happen to us, because we love our bodies and we love ourselves and we love each other, and I love you and I want to look after you. And so, but what's annoying is that it tastes really nice, right? Even though it's not very good for us. So we'll add a little bit because it tastes nice, but not too much, because we gotta look after ourselves. And I'm trying to instill, condition his little brain.
It's hard. It's hard. You said, I mean, you're 100% right. And we have to lead by example. And you said before the age of 40, I am it's so important. People don't realize that they're building their bones, that they're doing all these things, right? Like one of the huge thing I put in my program is a lot of jumping motions. Okay. Women don't like to jump. Okay. Because they might pee, but jumping
their boobs.
and jumping in different directions. Okay. All works on the bones. And my daughter's 24, and I'm like, you're jumping now. I make her do it with me. We're skipping. Even running isn't enough.
Is jump rope good?
Jump rope's amazing.
I was thinking of picking that up. I was like, I don't know why, but I feel like I want to start jump rope.
Yes, you do it all the time. I do it in all my classes. I have everyone skipping. And if they can't do it with a rope, we do pretend. Doesn't matter. Jump high, but I'm like, my daughter's 24. I'm like, you're doing this now. I wish I'd made her earlier. My kids know we need to work out. They know I do, but I'm not. I always didn't want to be that mom, just because I do it. But they all do work out, right? Because they all have seen it, and that's just normal. They're not obsessive, and none of them are on teams or anything. Okay, I'm not that pushy mom at all, but it starts as early as you can. And people,
I saw something recently as well that ping pong is or racket, hand-eye coordination games, right? And ball, racket and ball, whatever, all those games, paddle, tennis, badminton, etc. That it's really good for your brain, for cognitive, for memory, for that. It's apparently very, very good for your brain, because something about the coordination piece works on a specific area of your brain I don't remember the name of. And yeah, so it's but that's the by. There was have you seen, is it called Blue Zones? Blue zones on Netflix.
Oh, about the eating in different areas.
no, about the areas in the world that have
Yeah,
the most centennials, the most
yeah.
over
Oh, wait,
100
yeah,
year
but
olds.
I haven't seen the program, but yeah, it's a
Ah,
known thing,
okay.
blue zones.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's such a good
absolutely.
program. And I
How they
really
eat.
think it had a big influence on me as well because and what I noticed, I think there were two areas in specifically that it was more about the physical aspect of their life. So
Mm,
I think it's Japan that
yeah,
no
Okinawa.
furniture, they have to sit down and get up and sit down and get up and they grow their own food. So they have to squat and they have to get up and they have to get on their knees and it's the movement that keeps them very agile in their bones and their health. And I think they've got like lowest rates of like hearts, problems and
But
stuff.
it's exactly what I was saying about Neanderthal man. It's like we've just
Yeah.
stopped being with this modern world.
But wait, there's another one in Italy, another spot in Italy that there's this a little village and they've got a ridiculous number of centennials and it's on hills. The village is all on hills and it's all uphill and downhill and stairs. And at the time, I was like, my sister just bought a house with lots of stairs, and I was like, "Oh, you've got so many stairs, woman." And then I watched the show, and I was like, oh, "You're so lucky. You have so many stairs. You're going to be so healthy." It's
Yeah,
like now,
listen,
like I like stairs. Embrace stairs, man.
we actually have a lift in our house because my husband's disabled. He lost a leg at 19, and I never ever go in that lift. And I'm like, why do you not go? I'm like, why would I go in that? First of all, it's really slow. But second of all, why on earth, if I didn't have to, like, it just literally it doesn't even come in my mind to use it. Like, it just wouldn't even occur to me. Wouldn't occur to me. And you were talking about like the racket stuff, and I was thinking about one of the five, like there are five parts to sport training, and one is coordination.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually one of the parts. And, like one of the things I do with my ladies is also I have them stand on one leg with their eyes closed in my class on Zoom, which is really interesting. We're all like this. Like, it's so, like, just.
With eyes closed is really hard. I do tree pose in yoga, but if I close my eyes, boom, I'm gone.
So I do eyes closed or make your eyes soft, like,
Okay.
I'm not a taskmaster, but it's just all these things that you need to be able to do. We do climbing up on chairs, by the way, in the workouts. Really important.
I would love to watch one of your workouts.
Yes, you can. I'll send you one. You can join one. Just join one. You can give you the link. All good. Have a go.
Yeah.
We have a good fun. Well, you need to like good music and want to dance around a bit and listen to my ridiculous jokes. But if you can handle that, you can handle anything.
Sounds awesome. Okay, before we wrap up, I do ask my guests to share an exercise or like or something that they can kind of implement or take away with them immediately. So what is it that you'd like to share?
Okay, I'm gonna go with two, I think. One, which I didn't really mention, but what I love to do with my ladies when we get stressed or when we think we can't do it everywhere apart from if you're actually driving, but you could be in a car, is heart breathing with the two hands over your heart, left hand on the heart, other one, closing your eyes and just. I like people to do it like 3 times.
Just 3 deep breaths?
Yeah, just a really deep breath.
Does it matter if it's through your nose, through your mouth?
I like to do through my nose, but I don't care. Like, just be comfortable, get the air in, hold it for a few seconds, and then breathe it out.
And why hands on heart?
You're really connecting. You're feeling your heart. You're absolutely centered with yourself, because it's all about taking a second. You're overwhelmed. You can't do anything. You could literally be in the car, have just been in the supermarket with your screaming 5-year-old and feel like you just gonna, like, you don't want to, right? Because you would do that, and you are just completely, it's all about me, but not in a selfish, horrible, egotistic. It's just, okay, what do I need? It's grounding. And I just find that that's one of those things that I can use it anywhere. No one knows what you're doing.
By the way, though, I wanted to tie this in. One of the questions I did want to ask you, and I forgot to ask you, was about cortisol and like physical health and weight and this and that. And so it's funny that you gave a stress relieving exercise.
Yeah.
I did want to tie that back into the physical piece, right? Like stress, I think is a huge piece of trying to, lose weight and get healthy. I think when, at least for me, I could speak for myself, is that my weight is very much about the calorie intake, which is very much about comfort eating, which is very much about stress.
So absolutely. I mean, it's one of the subjects I do have a module on in my program is about stress. And, there are misconceptions because you do need to keep your cortisol levels low and to learn how to to deal with stress. And then people say, well, then I can't do HIIT training. I can't raise my heart rate and get all stressed. But that's a different type of stress, which is good for you in small doses, which is why we sometimes do really fast, quick work. We do raise the cortisol because we need that. We need the spikes in our body, but it's not being in a constant high stress, high cortisol levels.
So when we're like just stressed because of life and our cortisol levels are high, what does that do to our body?
It's kind of making you hang on to fat. It's getting your body in like this, like doesn't know what to do state, and it like hangs on to sugar and gluten, you know, it just hangs on to everything. But if you do a quick spike of cortisol up and down in a healthy body, doing like high intensity training, how it really is meant to be, which could be 20 seconds of something and then wait for a minute before you redo it, or 30 seconds, then it's a good spike of cortisol, because we do need all these hormones. It's you know, tightrope everything, but you need, but yeah,
no, it's a total science. That's why people study it, and that's why
yes. And you know, I'm not a doctor, but I've just years of experience. But you need to really understand what you're doing to your body, and yet we don't want to be in that high stress state all the time. So even though I'm like a health coach and it's all about the training, you see, I went to the breathing because I don't think we can do any of the rest of it if we haven't just said, hang on a minute, who am I? What do I need? And then if I'm going to give like a health, you know, tip from the physical, I would say, don't wait and start. If you don't do anything anymore, go for a walk for 5 minutes, go for a walk for 10 minutes, like go for a walk, come back. If you really want to do something, start with your squats, your push-ups, just do something, and don't be afraid of weights. Find somebody that you resonate with, start lifting. You're not going to get huge and heavy. You're not going to get injured. Just trust yourself. Think about the things you've lifted all your life. Think about carrying your kids around. Listen, I have twins. I used to carry 2 of the, you know, car things at the same time. It was a nightmare. But, you know, think about the things your body has done, and don't think you're a frail old lady. You're not a frail old lady.
I love that. And I did just want to like wrap this up with the piece that I know we're talking here about physical health and about weight loss and about the body, etc. But I feel that it is such a parallel process with self-development and self-healing and the mental health, because you do have to, when you're trying to get into a healthier, like physical condition, then you do realize, shit, now I have to work my boundaries. Oh shit, now I have to work on my self-esteem. Oh shit, now I have to, like, you have to suddenly confront all these different things that have been potentially holding you back or keeping you like, or just reconditioning yourself. It's so connected. There's so much overlap. And I feel that if you're trying to find a way where you can get into self-healing, but maybe that's something that's a little bit, you know, you've tried the therapy, you've tried this, and you're not into maybe the holistic alternative kind of modalities, then maybe just trying to get into shape, like maybe focus on the body piece, and then it will happen. Like, you have to do the mindset work.
I think I said it at the beginning, is that like for me, getting into fitness was an escape, right? There was that time where, like, you know, I didn't have good jobs. Like when I first was in Israel, I didn't have good jobs. I felt like worthless. I felt useless, right? And the hour or the half an hour, whatever it was of the exercise, was like an escape and a stress reliever and okay, I'm all right. Okay, I'm taking care of me. And then when you start to realize that, then you realize, okay, hang on, there's a whole mindset.
I actually think you're very lucky in a way that you had that, but that you had that, because I think so many people don't have that, you know, and we're looking for that. We're looking for the me time. We're looking for the grounding. We're looking for the being present. We're looking for the reminder, like, oh, okay, I've got me, you know, and that's a lot of what I try to do in my work. It's like, you have you. I'm trying to give people back, you know, themselves.
And it is. It's all about you. You know, when I had my twins, so I had 2 of them, and I had 2, you know, the other kids were 9 and 6 when they were born. And I used to go to the local gym, and they had like a babysitting service, and you could have an hour, or maybe it was an hour and a half. And I was like, the minute that the doctor said I could work out, I was like, I'm going. And I walked with them in the double stroller, and I got there. And you put them there and you say, I'm going to the gym. And they say, okay. And 3 minutes after I get to the gym, they come and they say, one of them's crying. And I said, are they okay? And they said, yes. I said, okay, don't come and get me again. Like, don't. And I went every single day. I mean, 5 days a week, probably. And I was like, they're fine.
This is your time.
They're fine. Like, if they're screaming blue murder or something, they're bleeding or I don't know what, come and get me. If they're vomiting. But if they're just moaning, then you are the babysitting service. Please play with them, do something. I need that time. And that made me a better mother. I would have gone
100%.
I would have gone mad. I would have gone mad.
No, you had twins, man. I don't know how you did it. I told you already, like, I'll
I
let you
listen,
do.
I had no parents around, no help, no siblings. And what are you going to do? And I really believe, honestly, when it comes down to it, fitness saved me. Working out saved me. And no one believes me when I say it's not about how I look. It is about how I feel and who I am. It's never been, of course, I want to look nice. We all want to look nice. Okay. We all want to look good in our clothes. We want to feel nice, of course. But the core piece is about me and being strong and being able to look after myself and being able to do whatever the hell I have to do. I mean, I mentioned I have a disabled husband. Yeah, he was a fighter. He just did everything. But do you know how many things he didn't do because he couldn't? And I just had to do them. So it's just so many pieces. And it's I don't know, it's life-changing if when you see another woman that you've helped be able to do stuff. What more could you ask for? You know, because you do the
100%.
same.
100%. Ugh, amazing. You're amazing, Jane. I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom and your time with us today. And a big thank you to everybody listening. I hope
Yeah.
you found our conversation as inspiring and enlightening and empowering as I did. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate, and review the podcast on your favorite platform. Your support helps me reach more people and hopefully make a bigger impact. Maybe someone really, really needs to hear about Jane. Jane, before we finish, how can people find you? I've got to put your links wherever. But
Yeah, absolutely. Facebook, Instagram, probably my Facebook private page is best. If interested in finding out more about working with me, it's all online. You can just pop me a DM, have a chat, no strings attached. Get something booked in. And I just want everyone to remember, perfection not required. Just start. Just take care of yourselves, ladies.
I love that. Okay. And I'd also love to hear from the listeners. What was your biggest takeaway from today? I think that's something that we really always love to hear about. So stay curious, stay informed, and stay tuned for more episodes coming your way. Jane, thank you again. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Lots of love, everyone. Bye.